Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin our study guide. So, first problem. Write an equation that models the situation. Here's the situation. To help pain relief, some doctors recommend aspirin. A full dose of aspirin is 325 milligrams and can be taken every 4 to 6 hours. The aspirin decreases each hour by 28% in the human body. So remember, the first thing we need to do is change the percent to a decimal. So 28% is 0.28. It says let y be the amount of aspirin left in the body and let x be the time in hours. All right, so first, since it's decreasing, we've got 325, that's what we're starting with, 325 milligrams, and then times, and then 1, decrease means minus 0.28. And then that would be to the x power, okay? Now, our goal here is to get away from having the minus sign or plus sign in our answer. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 1 minus 0.28. So our final answer for this is y equals 325 times 0.72 to the x power. Now, if you can take a full dose of aspirin now, how much will be left in your system after 3 hours? All right, so remember, we go to our y equals screen, we type that in, 325 times 0.72 raised to the x power. Go to our table, second graph, and when we go to 3 hours, right there's our answer, 121.31 milligrams, or just 121.3. All right, there's problem number 1 and 2. The next problem, population. In 2012, the population of Minnesota was 2.379 million. The population of Minnesota has been increasing on average 2.2% each year. Let P be the population and T the time. All right, so it is increasing, and we're changing the percent to a decimal, 0.022. Remember, divide by 100 to change your percent to a decimal. All right, so it says P, the population, equals 2.379 million times 1. It's increasing, so that's going to be plus 0.022, close, to the t power. Now, if you prefer to use x and y, that's fine. All right, now we're going to shorten up our answer by getting rid of the plus sign. So P equals 2.379 times 1.022 to the t power. 4. It is now 2015, 3 years later. What is the estimated population now? So we're going to use our calculator, go back to our y equals, clear out the old problem, 2.379 times 1.022, close it, and I am going to raise that to the x power. Remember, we cannot use any other letters in our y equals except x. All right, go to the table. Now, it says that in 2015, that's 3 years later, we have to look up the number 3 in our table. And just like the last problem, we go to the 3, there it is. And we see it's 2.5, we'll round it, 2.54 million. At any time you need to pause the video, please do so and rewind it if you need to. All right, number 5. What is the estimated population of Minnesota in 2020? That's not even 2 years away. That's 8 years later. So we're going to go to the 8 in our table. There it is. So we see that it's 2.83 million. All right. Next one. Suppose you deposit $10,000 into an account that earns 3.8%. All right, again, change your percent to a decimal. If you don't know it, divide by 100, and that's going to give you the decimal 0.038. Now, earn, you're going to be adding. So y equals the $10,000 times the 1 plus 0.038 to the x power. But again, we want to shorten it up. We don't want the plus sign in our answer. So y equals 10,000 times 1.038 to the x power. All right, number 7. If you leave the money in the account, how much will you have after 40 years? All right, here we go. Let's go to our y equals screen. $10,000 times 1.038 raised to the x power. Go to your table, okay? Now we have to go to 40. Now I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to jump to 40 because my calculator's too slow. So I'm going to jump to 40. You can just scroll to 40. All right, there it is. Hey, that's pretty nice. $10,000 turned into $44,452. All right, $44,452. All right, let's keep going. Next page. All right, suppose you buy a car that's worth $26,999. The value of the new car you bought will decrease approximately 23% each year. V is the value of the car, and T is the time that has elapsed in years. Write an equation. So the value of the car equals $26,999 times 1. Decrease means minus. It's minus. The decimal for the percent is 0.23. And T is the exponent for time. Okay, I'm going to shorten that up. So the value of the car is $26,999 times 1 minus 0.23 is 0.77. Again, 1 minus 0.23 is 0.77 to the T power. Number 9, what will the car be worth after 3 years? So again, I'm going to use my trusty or my handy dandy calculator. I'm going to go and type this in, $26,999 times the 0.77 raised to the x power. And it said 3 years. Oh, so I'm going to scroll back to number 3, but again, I'm going to do a little cheat here. I'm going to go ahead and jump to 3. There it is. So the car is worth $12,326. $12,326. Okay, let me double check that. Make sure I did that right. $12,326. Okay, number 10, how much is the car worth after 5 years? All right, well, the answer's on our calculator. 5 years, right there, $7,308. $7,308. All right. Again, you make any extra notes that you need to yourself. You get to use this study guide while you're taking the test. Okay, exponents. Using some exponent rules. All right, number 11. X to the 5th power times 5x squared. Well, first of all, the base in front of the x to the 5th is a 1. All right, multiply the bases. 1 times 5 is 5, followed by the x. Now, the rule here for this one is to take your exponents and add them. So 5 plus 2 is 7. That is your answer, 5x to the 7th power. All right, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go ahead and multiply the bases. So 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Followed by the x. Now the rule again here is to add your exponents. Add your exponents. So that would be x to the 5th power. All right, again, you can pause this when you need to and rewind. Number 13. First, we're going to divide the bases. We've got 20 divided by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Here, we're going to subtract. Now, I'm going to follow that with an x and a y. Okay, but I have to get the exponents. And the rule here is to subtract the exponents. So this is a 5 and this is a 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. This one's a 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3 is also 4. All right, so your answer is 5x to the 4th, y to the 4th. Number 14. Now, in number 14, you'll notice we have parentheses. Now, this exponent on the outside goes to everything on the inside, and the rule here is to multiply. Okay, but you only multiply exponents. So the exponent on the 5 is a 1. 1 times 2 is 2, so that's 5 squared. 3 times 2 is 6, so that's a to the 6th. And 4 times 2 is 8, that's b to the 8th. Okay, we're not quite done because 5 squared can be rewritten as 25 because 5 squared is 25, followed by a to the 6th, b to the 8th. That's the answer we're looking for. Same thing with number 15. Okay, again, that 7 has an exponent of 1. So when I multiply my exponents, again, you have parentheses here, and there's a 3 there. It's going to be 1 times 3, which is 3. So 7 to the 3rd. M to the 2 times 3 is 6. N, 5 times 3 is 15. All right, now we need to simplify 7 to the 3rd. Use your calculator. So 7 to the 3rd power is 343. Followed by m to the 6th, n to the 15th. That's your final answer. All right, number 16 is like number 13. First, we're going to divide the bases. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So again, we're going to subtract the exponents. So that would be m. Now 9 minus 2 is 7. And then n, 10 minus 7 is 3. So your answer is 6, m to the 7th, n to the 3rd. All right. Let's move on to the next page. Okay. Here we go. So we have x to the 3/4 equals 8. Well, how do we get rid of that exponent of 3 to the 3/4? We multiply it by flipping it, so we're going to use 4/3. The 3/4 and the 4/3 cancel, and we're left with x equals, all right, calculator time. So we've got an 8 raised to the, okay, let's look at it again. We got 4 over 3. So 4 divided by 3, close it. Now, if we do things correctly, we should not get a decimal. There we go, 16. All right, so the answer to this problem is 16. Now, something I forgot to mention. Does it have one solution or two solutions? And if you remember, the rule is if the top number is even, it will have two solutions. But it's odd. The exponent, the numerator is odd. There is one solution. So there is no plus or minus for this one. So our answer is 16. All right, let's continue. Number 18. First of all, I noticed that the exponent is a 4. That is even. That tells me there are going to be two solutions. All right, now you'll notice that the first thing we got to get rid of is the 4 because the plus 6 is inside the parentheses. So to get rid of the 4, we're going to use 1/4 on both sides. So the 4 and the 1/4 cancel. We're left with, we do not need the parentheses anymore, so we're left with x plus 6 equals, now remember, plus or minus. All right, calculator time, 65, 61 raised to the 1/4 power. 9. So it's plus or minus 9. All right, we're not done yet. Take away 6. Now there are two situations here. We've got a positive 9 take away 6, which is 3. And we have a negative 9 take away 6, which is negative 15. So there's two answers. X equals 3 and negative 15. All right, let's continue. Number 19. All right, notice there's no parentheses here. I see three things that we got to get rid of to get x by itself. So the first thing is to take away 8. Take away 8 is 12. The next thing we need to do is get rid of the negative 4, so we divide by negative 4. We're left with x to the 1/3 equals 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. Now, to get rid of the negative, or the 1/3, we're going to multiply by 3 over 1. The 1/3 and the 3 over 1 cancel each other out. Okay, and if you need to, you can use your calculator. We've got 3 to the 3 over 1. Technically, you don't need to put it over 1, but we can, and we get 27. Now, I did not mention it, but there is only one answer here because the top number is odd. So one answer. So x equals 27. All right, problem number 20. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 things we need to get rid of. So first we're going to get rid of the minus 7, so we're going to add 7. So we have 3 times x minus 8 to the 5th power. Oh, that's an odd number, so that tells me there's only going to be one solution. And negative 736 plus 7 is negative 729. Next we need to get rid of the 3. Divide by 3. So we have x minus 5, nope, sorry, x minus 8 to the 5th power. And let's see, negative 729 divided by 3 is negative 243. Again, it's an odd exponent, so there's only going to be one answer. To get rid of the 5, we're going to use 1/5. The 5 and the 1/5 cancel. We're left with x minus 8 equals. All right, now when I type this in, I should put negative 243 in parentheses. Anytime you have a negative, you should put parentheses around that. Okay, raised to the power of 1/5. And voila, we get negative 3. Okay, we got one step left. We have to add 8. Yes, add 8. And we get x equals 5. All right. Problem number 21. Okay, on this problem, we're going to first need to divide by negative 4. So we have x minus 5 to the 3/2 power. So again, before we go on, the top number of the numerator is odd, so we're going to have one answer. All right, negative 32 divided by negative 4, I believe that should be a positive 8. Now we're going to get rid of the 3/2, so we're going to do 2/3, 2/3. Now we can't get rid of the 5 or the minus 5 because that's inside the parentheses. First we got to get rid of the exponent. All right, so 3/2 and 2/3 cancel. And we're left with x minus 5 equals, okay, 8 to the 2/3 power is 4. And again, we do not need a plus or minus because there's only one answer. And we're going to add 5. And so we end up with x equals 9. All right. Let's look at the last page. Now on this last page, you are going to want to write these formulas down on your paper. All right, this first one says surface area. And we have a cylinder. The surface area for a cylinder is 2 times pi times the radius squared plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. Okay, that's surface area. So 5 is the radius and 18 is the height. So we're going to plug the numbers in. Here we go. So 2 pi times the radius, which is 5 squared, plus 2 times pi times the radius 5 times the height 18. Now I'm going to do this in parts. I'm going to do the 2 times the 5 squared. 2 times the 5 squared. So that becomes 50. So this is now 50 pi. I do not want to change pi to 3.14. Leave pi alone. Plus, now I'm going to take 2 times 5 times 18. 2 times 5 times 18. So that's 180. So 180 and then the pi symbol. Now I can add those two together. 50 plus 180 is 230. So my answer is 230 pi centimeters squared because it's dealing with surface area. All right, next one. Okay, we have a cube. A cube is considered a prism. And the formula for a prism, the surface area of a prism, is a big B, which stands for base area, times the height of the object. Whoops, I take that back. Hold on. Okay, so the surface area of a prism is 2 times the base area plus P, which stands for perimeter, times the height. Okay, so there's 3 things here. First of all, the base area, the big B. Okay, I'm going to do the big B first. I'm going to go ahead and go with pink. Okay, the base area, that's the bottom. In this case, it's the bottom of that shape. And to find that, we simply take 12 times 12. 12 times 12 is 144. So the base area is 144. P again stands for perimeter. The perimeter of the object, that's the distance around the outside. Okay, well that would be 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. Again, it's the distance around the outside. 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, the perimeter is 48. And h is the height. Well, the height of that object is 12. All right, here we go. So we're going to go 2 times the base area, which is 144. Okay, I'm color coding for you. Plus the perimeter, which is 48, times the height. Well, the height is 12 inches. Okay, well, I can simply type all of that into my calculator now. So 2 times 144 plus, whoops, I forgot a 4, 144 plus 48 times 12. 864. Hopefully I did that right. Let me double check. 2 times 144 plus 48 times 12. That is correct. 864. So my answer is 864 inches squared. Okay. Now, the next one is also a prism, folks. But this one is a triangular prism because the base, even though the base is not necessarily the bottom, the base is a triangle. All right, so that means, I'll color code again, the big B, the base area, so we're going to use the same formula. Here, let me point back to it. So we're going to use that same formula. But in this case, the big B is going to be the triangle. And remember, the triangle is the base times the height divided by 2. That's the area of a triangle. You learned that back in geometry. You probably actually learned that back in middle school. And what you end up with is 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the base area is 6. Okay, the perimeter, okay, now the perimeter is the distance around that triangle. So the perimeter is the 3 plus the 4 plus the 5. And we end up with 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. Okay, now I can plug my numbers in. So I'm using the same formula. So 2 times 6 plus 12 times the height of that object is 10. All right, I don't need a calculator for this one. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 10 is 120. So 12 plus 120 is 132 meters squared. All right, again, that's dealing with surface area. The next one is dealing with volume. Okay, volume. Now, we're back to a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder is pi times the radius squared times the height. Okay, can't get any easier than that. Okay, not a lot of explanation here. So we're going to take pi. Again, leave pi alone. Times the radius, which is 5, and we're going to square it, times the height, which is 18. Okay, so we're going to type 5 squared times 18 into our calculator. 5 squared times 18. 450. So that we write 450 first, followed by the pi symbol. Again, leave pi alone. And then since this is volume, that would be centimeters cube. Volume is cubic. So 450 pi cubic centimeters. All right. Back to the prism. Okay, again, this is a triangular prism. And the volume of a prism is going to be base area times the height. Well, we already did the work for this. If we look to this problem right there, the base area is 6. So we do not need to do all that work again. So it's going to simply be 6 times the height. Well, the height is 10. Okay, not 3, 10. And that's simply 60 meters, cubic meters. That's it. Volume is the easiest one. Surface area is where you got a little bit more work to do. All right, so the first part of the test, again, is going to be reading some word problems, coming up with the correct equation and using that equation to answer some questions. The second part of the test is going to be knowing your exponent rules. Okay, there are 3 of them. The third part of the test is going to be solving equations. And then the fourth part of the test is review from geometry, surface area, and volume. Okay, take good notes. Hopefully you took good notes and you wrote extra notes to yourself to help you when you're taking the actual test. All right, good luck.